Some riders wait for openings. Justin Barcia creates them. He doesn't ride like the race is unfolding in front of him. He rides like he's forcing it to happen. Bars get tight, lines disappear, corners turn into collisions, and suddenly, it doesn't feel like a race anymore. It feels like a bar fight. That's why they call him Bam Bam. Not just because it sounds cool. Because when Barcia commits, something's getting hit. When he's on, and he has been on plenty, he's one of the hardest riders on the gate to beat straight up. Fast enough to win anywhere. Physical enough to make winning uncomfortable for everyone around him. Fans either love him, or they just can't stand him. And frankly, both are correct. Justin Barcia was never built to fit the mold. From the moment he turned pro in 2009, it was obvious he wasn't going to be the clean, polished type. He didn't carry himself like a corporate athlete, he didn't race like a technician, and he definitely didn't compete like someone trying to avoid mistakes. He raced like someone trying to impose himself on the track. Back-to-back 250 SX East titles in 2011 and 2012, then the 450 rookie season, 2 wins, and the Rookie of the Year award in 2013. The industry had watched him dismantle the 250 class and assumed the championship was coming next. But even in those early wins, something else was building alongside the results. The aggression, the late moves, the contact that didn't always sit well with the riders around him. He wasn't just winning.
Corner, Barcia wins that one, knocks him down.
After the finish, I went inside, he went outside. He had more speed, but he just cleaned me out, and it was pretty dirty, but you know, it's over with. I'm forgotten about it. I'm just going to move on.
Hey, you know, I had the inside line, and I wasn't going to back off, and he tried to hold it on, and I guess he didn't see no videos or nothing. No, I was just aggressive riding. You know, I wasn't dirty or nothing, but, you know, I guess he's got some sad feelings about that, but that's sad to hear.
Right here, Barcia just whips it over. Gives Roxon some serious attitude right there as he passes him back. As a rider, if you're Roxon, that's just going to fire you up even more.
I don't know what the heck's wrong with him. He almost killed us both on the triple, but yeah, he's just not the brightest light in the room, I have to say.
People think my riding's a little too over the edge, and some people think it's awesome. I love to ride aggressive, you know, I think it's awesome. I think that's what Supercross and Motocross is all about. You'll hear the guys saying, oh, he's way too aggressive, bumping guys and stuff like that, but I just think it's a great race, and as long as you're not putting anything on the gun, I think it's just awesome racing.
To some fans, that was everything motocross used to be. To others, it was the line being crossed too often. That division followed him his entire career, and hell, it still does. But none of that tells you anything until you actually watch him ride. To understand the weight behind that Rookie of the Year award, you have to go back a few years. Barcia grew up in Monroe, New York, not the traditional motocross pipeline. Not Florida, not California, not the red dirt circuits of the Southeast. A kid from the Northeast, riding whatever tracks he could find, building the foundations of a style that would eventually make every factory team in the country want him. By the time he reached the national amateur stage, the results spoke for themselves. 4 class championships at Loretta Lynn's, the proving ground, the one place where the sport decides who's real and who isn't. His amateur career produced over 24 major titles across multiple classes. The hype that followed him into the professional ranks wasn't manufactured, it was earned.
It was other people saying like he was going to go somewhere, and we were just kind of like, you know, whatever. We still weren't thinking about racing outside of the district. And they got what they wanted. I just did it because Justin was so good and they wanted it. And he always tried really hard, so how could you not?
I never thought about it as a job. I never thought about it as anything until probably my last year amateurs. Like, man, I can go pro, you know. But before that, 85s, 125, 2 strokes, I was just like, this is fun, I love it. And, you know, I still do to this day. It's fun and I love it, but now I get to do it for a living, so it's pretty cool.
The industry had watched him come through the amateur system and seen something specific, not just speed, but a quality that's much harder to coach. He was fearless in a way that bordered on reckless, and that combination, elite speed plus zero hesitation, is what factory programs spend years trying to find. Geico Honda signed him. The 250 class was next. What happened at the pro level in those first seasons wasn't a surprise. It was confirmation. But confirmation of what exactly? That was still being sorted out, because the speed was undeniable, and so was everything that came with it. Ryan Dungey called him disrespectful. Chad Reed called him a pain in the ass. Both of those things happened before Barcia ever raced a 450 full-time. He was still a teenager. The sport had found its Bam Bam, and now it had to figure out what to do with him. The 250 SX East class in 2011 had real talent in it. It always does. Barcia didn't race through it. He rolled over it. Riding for Geico Honda, he put together the kind of season that produces champions and reputation simultaneously. Podiums at every round, multiple wins, a relentlessness that made him not just fast, but oppressive, the kind of rider you feel in the pack even when he hasn't reached you yet. He won the 2011 East title, then came back in 2012 and did it again. What those two seasons showed wasn't just results, they showed the template. Even at 19, even in the 250 class, the Barcia signature was already fully formed. He didn't ease into leads, he seized them. He didn't manage races, he dictated them. Corners that other riders treated as neutral exchanges, Barcia treated as territory to be taken. The aggression that would later define and complicate his 450 career wasn't something that developed under pressure. It was present from the start, functioning as a weapon in a class small enough that the consequences were manageable. In 2011, filling in on Trey Canard's Honda 450 during the Outdoor Nationals, he podiumed against the full Premier class. He was 19, still technically a 250 rider, and he was racing Villapoto and Dungey and Reed to the podium. Nobody was surprised, and that was the problem. The expectations arrived before he did. By the time Barcia made it to the 2012 Monster Energy Cup on a 450, his first real test in the big class, he won the thing outright. Scored 2-1-2 across 3 main events, beat the best riders in the world, and collected $100,000.
Justin Barcia wins $100,000. How about it? The Monster Energy Cup goes to the hot young rookie, and boy does he make a statement as we get ready for Anaheim.
Yeah, biggest things come out here healthy. We learned a lot with the bike. We got some work to do before A1, but it was great. You know, all the big guys rode really good. I'm pumped to be in the 450 class, and $100,000's not too bad. $1 million would have been a lot better, but this was good. You know, I got a lot of experience in the 450 class. Obviously, not everyone's here, but it was good. You know, the main top hitters are here, so it's pretty good. Yeah, that makes me feel really good, and that's what the main goal was here, to see where we were at and get some experience. And I feel good. I feel confident after this, ready to go home, do some 20 laps, no 10 laps, and prepare.
Still in the 250 class, still a teenager. The 450 full-time debut in 2013 felt less like an arrival and more like a formality. The sport had already decided he was ready. The question was whether the sport was ready for him. You can spot Barcia before you even read the number. Front end loaded, elbows high, body over the bars like he's trying to pull the bike forward instead of just riding it. He never looks relaxed. Always looks like he's a half second from losing it, and that he's absolutely fine with that. In tight sections, especially in Supercross, that's where it shows up most. He won't follow a line. He'll shut it down, square it off, or force the exit to go his way. A corner isn't just a turn, it's an opportunity to take space. He'll close the door mid-line, come in late enough to make you hesitate, block your exit before you finish committing to your entry. Because that hesitation is all he needs. Watch him late in a race when everyone else is protecting their position. Barcia goes the other way, starts picking riders off one by one. Lines around him get defensive, riders tighten up. What looked stable 2 laps ago suddenly looks like a fight again. And when the track breaks down, when the ruts go deep and the dirt gets rough and everyone else is trying to manage the chaos, that's when Barcia gets better. The 2019 Anaheim 1 opener was a mud race, the kind of track that produces chaos and surprises. Barcia won it with patience, sitting 3rd for 15 laps before making the pass when it counted, his first Supercross win in 6 years.
Here we go! Through this next week.
Whoa, slips up a little bit. Justin Hill falls in front of him. Oh, I think Barcia's going to go for it right here.
Here's Barcia inside and a new leader. Oxen and Tomac, other title contenders behind him. Justin Bam Bam Barcia wins Anaheim to kick off the 2019 Monster Energy Supercross season.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've never won the first Anaheim one, so yeah, I've never done that. But last year I was on the podium, and before I hurt my hand, I was really consistent and knocking out podiums consistently, so that was good. So I think with this race, I just kind of take the confidence with it and use it to my advantage for sure. Yeah, it's a cool story for sure. I think I haven't won it since Seattle 6 years ago, so in the 450 class. So that's pretty crazy. That could discourage anyone, I think.
The risk is always there too. Barcia rides on momentum. When the confidence is there, everything flows. The aggression lands, the timing works, the passes stick. When it breaks, that same intensity can spiral. The lines tighten, decisions get rushed, and the aggression doesn't disappear. It just loses precision. That's Bam Bam, built on pressure, not control. Ask the riders who've spent time in the same pack as Barcia, and a pattern emerges. It's not the crashes that get inside your head. It's the anticipation. You know he's behind you before you see him. You can hear the engine note, the bike screaming higher than anyone else's, because Barcia rings the throttle out in a way most 450 setups actively discourage. And you know that if there's a gap anywhere on the track, a gap you haven't even fully registered yet, he's already committed to it. So you start riding differently, blocking lines you wouldn't normally bother to block, taking corners wider to prevent the inside, checking your six in places where a clear track rider never would. That defensive riding costs time, and that time is what Barcia is hunting. Eli Tomac put it plainly after a race in 2022 where the two had traded some friction. Watching a clip back with Barcia, Tomac looked at him and asked, "Have you ever passed anyone clean?" Barcia's answer, "This year?"
I really care. I don't give a f***. You look fine, dude. Hey, guess what? Someone just as psycho as you. Yeah. Someone just as crazy as you and doesn't give a shit. I'm good all year. Got all year.
Have you ever passed anyone clean without touching someone's bike?
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
That exchange tells you everything. Tomac, one of the greatest of his generation, a rider with more raw talent than almost anyone he's ever lined up against, was exasperated. Not frightened, exasperated. Because you can be better than Barcia on paper and still lose to him in a corner, because he doesn't play the same game everyone else is playing. Other riders manage the race. Barcia manipulates it. He creates a race within the race, a secondary contest happening 3 or 4 places back, conducted entirely through line choice and body language and the threat of what he might do in the next corner. And that contest runs on his terms. That's what 16 years of it looked like from inside the pack. Not just a fast rider, a problem. Indianapolis, March 2022, round 11 of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. Barcia had the hole shot. Jason Anderson was behind him. On lap 7, Anderson made a clean pass for the lead. The race was his. The next lap, Anderson went to the outside of a turn coming out of the Supercross triple. Standard line, comfortable position, no reason to think what was about to happen was about to happen. Barcia slid to the inside at an angle that made no sense if the goal was to make a pass. There was no gap to reasonably attack. He turned his bike after contact was already made. Anderson went down. Barcia threw his hand up as he passed, the universal sign for "my bad."
Jason Anderson coming back from that crash last weekend, not being able to finish well.
How about that moment?
Jason Anderson goes wide. Dustin Barcia said after the post race, hey, that was a turn that, you could go up and make a pass. Says he didn't mean to hit him, didn't want Jason to fall, but he was there.
Ricky Carmichael was calling the race, and he wasn't buying it. On the broadcast, the GOAT said Barcia knew exactly what he was doing.
There's a pass for the lead. Jason's going to go the outside. Boom. Yeah, listen. Barcia, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Barcia is going for it, all right? When I say going for it, he meant to do that. He looks back, puts his hand up like, hey, sorry, maybe I didn't mean to do that, but he knew exactly where Anderson was going, and he knew where he was going as well.
and the AMA agreed with Carmichael. Fine, $3,000. Penalty, 3 championship points. Barcia kept the second-place podium, kept the prize money, and kept the position in the standings. Then, when a reporter asked him about it afterward, he said something that ended the debate about who Barcia is. "I wouldn't change anything. I would do the same thing I did."
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say because it was a racing incident, and I told these guys, I wouldn't change anything. I'd do the same thing I did. I took the line, and yeah, I don't know. Obviously, he didn't see me, so.
No apology, no spin, no mention of the fine or the penalty points. Just a man telling you clearly that his racing decisions are not subject to revision. It wasn't the first time that year. He'd already drawn a written warning and a 6-month AMA probation for an overly aggressive incident with Justin Bogle in San Diego. Indianapolis was a probation violation, and it wasn't the last. He'd do it again at Salt Lake City in the season finale, taking out Malcolm Stewart in a points battle, drawing another penalty. 3 incidents, 3 penalties, 1 season.
And here you go. He's going to completely T-bone Malcolm Stewart. Malcolm is lucky that he did not get hurt. And the same for Justin Barcia. High risk move. Extremely dirty for this early in the race. Yeah, he said he did it because he wanted 3rd place in the series, but
Justin straight up T-boned me, man. That was dirty. I'll be straight up with him, and we're definitely gonna have a talk right after this race.
The conversation the sport had been having around Barcia for a decade. Is he hard racing or is he dirty? It got louder after that year.
Yeah, obviously fans aren't happy. We raced for a championship, 3rd in points. I was doing everything I could. Obviously, it was an aggressive pass. I'm gonna own that. What do I say? I would like to think he would have did the same thing, but maybe not. Sorry, guys, but I'm here racing for a living. This is what I do. You can bring the booze, but love or hate it, this is me.
This is me.
Since day one.
There was no clean answer. There never is with him. That's the deal. He keeps racing the same way, and every race, the question comes back. After the 2013 debut, 2 wins, Rookie of the Year, 4th in the championship, the trajectory looked obvious. It wasn't. The next 3 years on factory Honda produced flashes, but not the sustained run everyone expected. Then came the move to JGRMX for 2015. Joe Gibbs Racing, the NASCAR powerhouse that had expanded into motocross, full factory support, a fresh start with a new manufacturer. It didn't unlock him. A cracked hip in preseason wiped out the 2015 Supercross campaign before it started. He rebounded outdoors, won Budds Creek and Red Bud, went 1-3 at the Motocross of Nations individually, but the indoor season, where championships are made, stayed out of reach. JGR moved to Suzuki. The long-term contract changed. After 3 years, Barcia was dropped. Nobody wanted him. That's not an exaggeration. Cycle News, when covering Barcia's 2018 Yamaha fill-in story, put it plainly. At that moment, no factory team was interested. The reputation was just too loud, the injury history too long, the results not consistent enough to justify the risk of the personality. So Barcia did something almost nobody does at that level. He went private. For the 2017 Monster Energy Cup, he put together a self-funded effort on a privateer Honda. No factory support. His fiancée Amber helping hold the program together.
I've had a tough couple of years, and people just don't know what's going on. Like maybe he's over it, maybe no one knows. But clearly, this shows me going out and putting all this together shows that I love racing dirt bikes, and obviously I want to get back to where I think I belong. But if you have to take a different route to get there, so be it. At least factories and stuff, they lost belief in me a little bit, and definitely want to prove a point, mostly for myself though, that I can still do it, because it's been a tough go. Need to do it for myself first, and then do it for everyone else later.
He showed up, raced, and rode well enough that the factory Yamaha team, with Davey Millsaps unexpectedly stepping away, offered him a fill-in ride for 6 Supercross rounds in 2018. He took it, made the podium at the opener, earned the contract.
It was a little bit of a late start, but we put our heads down and dug deep, and it showed tonight that we've been working hard, and I'm building my confidence back up again. Taking it race by race for sure. That seems like it's been working the best for me, even though we're 2 in. I'm definitely trying to build myself a good contract, and I think me and Yamaha would be a great fit together for years to come, and I got a few good years left in me, so hope to work something out here in the next few weeks. It'd be nice.
Then came 2019. Anaheim won. Rain, a track most riders were trying to survive. Barcia sat third for 15 laps, patient in a way nobody had seen from him, then made one clean pass for the lead and pulled away. His first Supercross win in 6 years, first Anaheim 1 win of his career. The ride that proved the years away hadn't cost him what mattered. Then he did it again in 2020, dry this time. Then again in 2021 on a brand new gas at the season opener in Houston. 3 consecutive opening round wins, a record nobody had ever seen coming from a rider the paddock was all too prepared to close the book on. The gas era, 5 seasons, 2021 through 2025, was where Barcia became something new. Not a contender for the overall title in the way 2013 had suggested he might be, but a genuine force in every race he entered, capable of winning at the highest level, capable of finishing outside the top 10, capable of the full range of Barcia outcomes in a single night. He won in East Rutherford in 2023, broke his collarbone in Nashville, came back, broke it again at the SMX finale at the LA Coliseum, came back from that too. Every time the sport seemed ready to graduate him to elder statesman, useful to have around, no longer a real threat, he'd put in a race that changed the calculation. Then Ducati called. For 2026, the Italian manufacturer was making its first ever AMA Supercross appearance. They needed 2 riders who could develop a brand new bike under race conditions while competing at the front of the 450 class. They chose Dylan Ferrandis and Justin Barcia. Of all the riders in the paddock, they chose the one who had spent 16 years proving he was impossible to write off.
Ducati to make a dirt bike, and for me to race that dirt bike in Supercross is like a bit unbelievable. Like, it just doesn't sound real. You have the main brands, and then you just, that's insane.
The first lap of Anaheim 1, 2026. Malcolm Stewart rolled a triple on the opening lap. Barcia was committed above him and had nowhere to go. The collision sent him over the bars and onto his back. He lay there motionless. The stadium went quiet in that specific way that stadiums do when nobody knows how bad it is. 2 broken vertebral processes, a concussion, the paramedic strapped him to a backboard. He gave the crowd a thumbs up as they wheeled him out. The next day, he walked out of the hospital under his own power. Of course he did. Justin Barcia is a reminder of what motocross looked like before everything became cleaner, more controlled, more calculated, before every move was dissected in slow motion and judged in real time, when races had rough edges and outcomes weren't always tidy. Today's sport rewards precision, smoothness, riders trained to minimize risk, manage races, and think 2 laps ahead. Barcia rides like the lines are suggestions, like the race is happening now, not on a clipboard. That's the tension he creates, and it forces a question the sport never fully resolves. Because there is value in what he does, not just spectacle value, real competitive value. He pushes riders around him to be better, sharper, more aware. He introduces variables that can't be coached or simulated. He makes the race harder for everyone in it, and harder races produce better racers. Not the clean champion, not the perfect technician, the disruptor. Whether you love the disruption or resent it, that's been the central Barcia debate for 16 years, and it's not getting resolved tonight. Picture the last 5 laps of any race Barcia's in. 5th place, someone in front of him who doesn't know he's coming yet. The front end loading into a left-hander, elbows out, bike pointed somewhere no one else is pointing it. The kind of moment that either produces a highlight or a controversy, and neither outcome surprises anyone. That's what 16 years of this looks like. Bam Bam Barcia was never meant to be perfect. He was meant to be felt. And whether you love it or can't stand it, when he's in the race, you're watching. So drop your take below. Who's the last rider to genuinely give Barcia a run for his money in a corner? Let us know. Thanks for watching. Stay wicked.